We're all gonna die. The question is how. Our cities and towns could descend into chaos without warning.
But we ain't going out like that. We're ready.
100 million Americans own over 300 million firearms. That's more than any army in the world.
I'll do whatever it takes to defend my family.
People across the country are worried that total societal collapse is just around the corner. 3 to 4 million Americans consider themselves preppers. Some folks think they're ready with their white rice, their protective masks, and their water purification systems. But then there are others who wonder what all that's going to be worth if you can't protect yourself from rampaging marauders hell-bent on survival at any cost. I'm weapons expert and former Army Ranger, Tim Abel. I know what it means to be prepared for the worst because I've been there. Now, I'm meeting people across the country who think they've stockpiled the guns necessary to survive a disaster. I'm going to check out their stashes and test them to see if they're actually ready to face an apocalypse. 500 miles away from Steve's family, on a compound in West Texas, one man is preparing for any disaster he might face.
My name's Mike. I live in Texas, and I'm ready for pretty much anything. There are a lot of different scenarios for hitting the fan. Worst case scenario, in my mind, nuclear. It's just a matter of time until a terrorist detonates a nuclear bomb on our soil over here. To say it can't happen to us would be ridiculous because it could. If a nuclear weapon were to go off, people will do anything that they have to do to feed themselves and their families. Darwinian principles will take over. The strong are going to survive. And if you're behind the power curve, you ain't going to make it. Oh, I really don't know exactly how many I have. More than 50 weapons that are really practical. You know, people say, well, that's an arsenal, you know, but different ones have different purposes.
Mike has a wide variety of firearms, like Russian AK-47s. A semi-automatic Sega shotgun, designed for rapid-fire defense in close-quarter combat. You can do anything a normal shotgun can do with the Sega 12, like hunting and skeet shooting. But it was designed to be an efficient fighting gun. Mike also has an AR-50. A supersized military rifle used for extreme long-range sniping. It can shoot accurately out to 1,000 yards. And the 50 caliber rifle, it does some serious damage.
I don't think I'm a stockpiler. I have what I need, nothing more. Well, I may have a little bit more. So what? Women have lots of nail polish. I'm a little bit crazy for it. Who knows? Maybe.
Mike has big guns, and a lot of them. But every gun needs an operator. And later, we'll find out if Mike can operate his arsenal well enough to survive in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Back in Texas, Mike is hoping his experiences under fire will give him the focus he would need to be combat effective in a post-apocalyptic showdown.
I've been a police officer since 1976. I've seen a lot of horrible things. I've actually been shot and hit 4 different times. I feel fear when I'm under fire, but I'm able to think through it. Maybe I'm a sociopath, but it doesn't bother me much. I don't get too upset about it. I have a few neighbors in the area that are like-minded, and they prepare themselves as well. If we were to experience some kind of disaster, we would band together and help each other.
But you need to have something major to offer if you want to be on Mike's team when it all hits the fan.
Good hit! Dale Price across the street has his own really awesome facility. He's got his own water treatment plant. He raises his own hunting dogs. He has a gun business and a gunsmithing business.
If things went south, it's nice to have good neighbors around that we could share our resources together, look out for each other.
Larry Lemon is my neighbor. He's kind of a wild man. He does pretty cool things with Jeeps and all kinds of vehicles, and he just got that toys for big boys attitude, you know, so I depend upon guys like that to get me through life.
Mike is an interesting cat. He's got the mindset that you can't be guaranteed that the way things are today, it'll be that way next month or next year.
The world as we know it could fall apart in a matter of minutes. If that happens, we're ready.
Well, thanks for letting me come out and check your place out, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming out.
We're here in West Texas, where it's 102 degrees in the shade. So Mike has a very impressive weapons collection, I'm told. So we're going to see how prepared he is to defend himself and his friends from whoever may want to come.
Got a few weapons over here on the table. What do you think, huh? This is a Russian Sega shotgun in 12 gauge. That's a pretty cool tool, very devastating for close quarters battle, as you might could imagine. We've got the ubiquitous AK-47. This one is a semi-automatic. I personally think it's probably the best assault rifle that there is.
And you have a MAC-10?
I happen to have an Ingram M10. The Ingram M10 had brisk sales during the Vietnam conflict. They're a very cheaply made but very, very dependable submachine gun.
Is this semi?
No, this is selective fire. We can go semi-automatic or full automatic.
The MAC-10 was used by Navy SEALs towards the end of the Vietnam War. And its ability to send notoriously powerful .45 caliber rounds rapidly downrange could make this gun a game changer. The high rate of fire could also be its downfall. With bullets flying out that fast, this gun can be very hard to hold steady. Fully automatic fire onto a target center of mass. It's that person life went anywhere.
You ready to rock?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Mike has just about any weapon he might need to survive the apocalypse. But it's time to see if he has the skills to survive in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Society could melt down in the blink of an eye. Mike's arsenal includes the close-quarters, battle-ready MAC-10.
You ready to rock?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Let's see what he can do with it.
Now I'm going to go full automatic. I hope Tim is impressed with what he's seen so far. There's always room for improvement, both in training and equipment, but I think that we're ready.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That was a human.
Yeah, had to eat him up.
My initial impression is that Mike has some wonderful capabilities here. Great weapon collection that I saw over here on the table, but I want to delve a little bit deeper and see how prepared he really is. Mike's shown off his arsenal, but it remains to be seen whether he can really stand up to the pressure. And he's not the only person we're putting to the test. In Texas, Mike has impressive short-range capabilities. But in a worst-case scenario, you wouldn't want your threats to get that close. All right, Mike, so with the MAC-10, you did outstanding. Let's see what you got in your long-range skills.
All right, let's do it.
Mike's property is huge, and in an earth-shattering crisis, he could need deadly long-range accuracy to keep himself safe from armed bands of looters.
The 50 BMG is almost a 50-pound rifle. This is not something that you're going to be humping through the boonies.
The .50 caliber rifle is a massively powerful firearm. It's used by military and law enforcement to disable vehicles by tearing right through the engine block. But even the smallest mistake is magnified at long distance. So Mike will need to be smooth on his trigger pulls and have his scope precisely set if he's going to hit his targets. On this particular property, the longest target would be about 367 yards. That's far under 50 cal, it's max capacity. So I expect him to nail every target. All right, so let's say we're set up here and you hear vehicles coming. We'll use those 3 white targets down there, and there's also a water cooler. Let's take those 3 white targets first and have you engage from left to right.
Excellent. Say when.
When? It looks like Mike is jerking the trigger a little bit instead of pressing it. And that's not a recipe for success with any gun. It's 12 inches to the right off the edge of the target. Let alone a rifle like this. Whenever you're ready. That was in the dirt before the target.
In the dirt?
Yeah, that was in the dirt.
All right.
Mike's scope wasn't set up properly. I didn't see the impact on that. And if Mike can't get on target, high to the left, he'll be a sitting duck out there if Armageddon comes. Mike's stockpile of weapons is impressive, but so far, his aim is lacking. And without the necessary skills, he won't stand a chance against violent bandits and looters. Center mass, left target.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Bad guy coming at you. Hit. Damn near dead center. All right, let's go to the cooler.
You got it.
Mike has adjusted his scope. Do not miss. It looks like he's finally on target. Way out. Target down. Wow, that blew that top sky high. So we made a few adjustments, and once Mike got it dialed in, it was a piece of cake. He was nailing everything. He didn't miss. Now Mike knows that if he always has his scope set up in advance, he'll be ready to stop attackers at long distances. But not every predator attacks in broad daylight. And Mike has a plan for that too. So Mike, as we know, nighttime is the best cover. What do you have to remedy that?
Well, I happen to have PVS-14 night vision binoculars.
PVS stands for Passive Vision Sight, and the PVS-14 is the most advanced night vision binocular currently in use by the U.S. military forces. The single tubes can be set up behind a traditional scope to create a night vision aiming device. And that's what Mike has done here. Why don't you show me what you can do with this?
Okay.
Let's kill those lights.
The only way to face the worst that this world has to offer is to be ready. And I'm ready.
Middle target. Far right. Far left. Clear your weapon.
Clear.
I can tell you one thing. I would hate to be on the receiving end of Mike Hurd's M4 at nighttime. I think you're way ahead of the power curve here with your night vision.
Thank you.
My PVS-14 is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So my assessment of Mike, he's very well trained, very well versed in the weapons that he has, from the .50 cal to the MAC-10 and his M4 night vision. I'll tell you what, I do think that, you and your neighbors are, good to go.
Well, we try. Prepare for the worst and pray for the best.
Mike is almost a one-man armory. But in a disaster situation, you need to be able to move quickly and efficiently. It might be time for Mike to make some hard decisions and actually pare down his arsenal.
The survival of the fittest is going to be what's going to happen out there. I think I'm ready, and I strive to get a little bit better every day. And perfect practice makes perfect.
My only suggestion to him is to beef up long-range capabilities for targets that aren't quite so close. You and your family did an outstanding job, especially on an environment rich in target that you guys have never, ever encountered before. You really show that your 20 years of military experience has helped you and has helped your family. So,
Thanks.
outstanding job.
Thanks, sir.
If this family can perform as well as they did today on this course in a post-apocalyptic world scenario, they'll be one of the ones that survive.